The origin of clean and unclean animals. What the Bible truly teaches. Hello, dear friend, and welcome to Miracles of History. Before we dive in, don't forget to leave a like, share this video, and subscribe to the channel. These simple actions help more people discover the wisdom hidden in history and the Bible. Have you ever wondered if certain animals are truly forbidden to eat, even today? For instance, the pig. Some people claim that the prohibitions in the Bible were meant only for ancient societies, thousands of years ago. Others argue that today we no longer need to worry about what we eat, only about the words we speak or the intentions we carry. But is that really the case? The Bible gives very clear instructions regarding clean and unclean animals. These instructions are not just arbitrary rules or cultural customs. They are connected to our spiritual health, our inner life, and our relationship with God. The food we consume can have subtle but profound effects on our character, our soul, and even the way we interact with the divine. Noah and the Ark. The first biblical reference. If you pay attention, you will notice something fascinating. The first mention of clean and unclean animals does not appear in Leviticus, as many assume. Instead, it appears much earlier in the story of Noah. God instructed Noah to build the ark, and gave him very precise instructions regarding the animals. For all clean animals, Noah was to take 7 pairs of each. For all unclean animals, only 1 pair was to be taken. This raises a critical question. How did Noah know which animals were clean and which were unclean? The detailed lists of clean and unclean animals would only be written centuries later in Leviticus and Deuteronomy. The answer is simple. There was an oral tradition, passed down from the very beginning of humanity. God had already instructed Adam and Eve about which animals were considered clean and which were unclean. This knowledge was carefully transmitted from generation to generation until it reached Noah. God also gave instructions regarding birds. He specified which birds could be taken into the ark and which were forbidden. This shows that God's concern for food, purity, and spiritual alignment existed long before Moses received the Torah. Categories of animals. When we look at the law of Moses, we see 3 main categories of animals. Terrestrial animals. Birds, fish. For terrestrial animals, God gave 2 essential signs to determine whether they were suitable for consumption. A fully split hoof, chewing the cud, ruminating, meaning the animal regurgitates and reaches its food before digestion. Here is the first fascinating secret. Many animals only meet one of these signs, or none at all. Lions, cats, and dogs are neither ruminants, nor do they have split hooves. The pig is unique. It has split hooves, but is not a ruminant, making it impure. Rabbits or camels ruminate, but do not have split hooves, and are also prohibited. And here is the most striking fact. No other animal in the world combines these signs differently. Moses could not have observed all animals in the world himself. He did not travel to every continent to study animals. Therefore, this knowledge had to come directly from God, revealing divine wisdom. Fish and birds. For fish, the criteria are equally precise. The fish must have scales, and fins. Oral tradition adds that not every fish with fins has scales, but every fish with scales will have fins. Imagine trying to study all the fish in the oceans, rivers, and lakes, including the deepest or most remote species. How could Moses have known this 3,300 years ago? This is another evidence of divine guidance. Regarding birds, God specifically identified 21 species as unclean, including eagles, ravens, and ostriches. All other birds were considered clean. Reptiles, crustaceans, and most insects are prohibited, with very specific exceptions for certain grasshoppers. The spiritual significance of food. Now we arrive at the most profound question. Why does God forbid certain animals? Some modern scholars claim these laws were merely preventive, protecting humans from disease. But this is a superficial reading. The Bible does not refer to animals as dirty in terms of hygiene. The correct term is unclean, and it refers to spiritual impact, not physical. Consuming unclean animals introduces something into us that opposes the holiness God desires for humans. This is not just a matter of physical health. It concerns inner purity and spiritual alignment. God calls us to be holy as He is holy. Every bite of food subtly affects the soul and our connection to God. Consider this. No ferocious animals are allowed for consumption. No birds of prey are clean. Even among fish, predatory species have aggressive characteristics. The spiritual influence is subtle, yet real. What we eat can influence our temperament, instincts, and spiritual alignment. Additionally, the Bible explicitly forbids consuming blood. Why? Because blood represents the soul of the animal. Consuming blood means introducing another being's spiritual essence into ourselves, a subtle but real spiritual effect. Lessons from Adam and Eve. To understand more deeply, let's return to the very beginning. Adam and Eve, the first commandment God gave them was, "Do not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." Even at the very start, God revealed the profound link between food, life, and spiritual alignment. Eating the forbidden fruit caused Adam and Eve to experience mortality and a separation from divine holiness. This story illustrates an essential truth. What we ingest affects our inner life, our consciousness, and our connection with God. Eating unclean food is, in a sense, repeating this principle, bringing something into us that moves us away from holiness. Modern reflections. Even today, we must consider not just physical health, but spiritual health. Every meal is an opportunity to move closer to God or further away. This includes understanding the symbolism of clean and unclean animals, and the subtle spiritual effects they carry. The Bible teaches timeless wisdom. Discipline in our choices matters. Respect for life and divine order is essential. Every action, including what we eat, affects our soul no matter the century. These principles are relevant. They remind us that holiness is actively pursued, and our diet is a reflection of our spiritual commitment. Conclusion. Studying clean and unclean animals is more than learning about ancient dietary rules. It is an invitation to reflect on how our choices shape our spiritual life. Understand the divine order and wisdom behind creation. Recognize that every action, including eating, carries spiritual weight. If this reflection has touched your heart, share this video, like it, and subscribe. By understanding the wisdom behind biblical laws, we can live more consciously, more spiritually, and closer to God. May God bless you and your family abundantly. See you in the next video.